Hello everybody, and welcome to our class video about finding a missing dimension given the area and rearranging area formulas. Gosh, that's like the longest title I've put on any of my videos. That's ridiculous. Our learning goals are that you'll be able to calculate a missing dimension given the area, and that you'll be able to rearrange an area formula to solve for a specific variable. How's that for redundancy? Oh well, let's get into it. In our first example, we know that the area of a triangle is 220 centimeters squared. Its base is 44 centimeters. We're asked to find the height. Okay, so my strategy for these kinds of problems, we already know the area and we're trying to find one of the dimensions, is to plug in what you know and then solve for what you don't. So let's look at it. Alright, so we're going to plug into something. What are we plugging into? Well, that would probably be the triangle area formula, because we're working with the area of a triangle. Alright, we're supposed to plug in what we know. What do we already know? We know that the area is 220 centimeters squared, so that's going to go in for A. Then its base is 44 centimeters, so that's going to go for B. Alright, so let's plug it in. 220 goes for A. 1/2, 44 goes for B. And then we still have H, which that's what we're trying to find. The question asks us to find the height. Okay, so now that I've plugged in what I know, I need to solve for what I don't know. What does it mean to solve for something? That means to get it by itself. Kind of like when you solve an equation for x, you're getting x by itself on one side of the equation. Okay, how are we going to get our variable by itself? We're going to do it by undoing operations, just like we've done with other equations. Okay, so in our equation over here, what should we get rid of first so h can be by itself? Well, the two things over there are the 1/2 and the 44. In this case, it won't matter which order, so I'm going to get rid of the 1/2 first. How do I get rid of the 1/2? Well, remember that multiplying by 1/2 is essentially the same as dividing by 2. So what's the opposite of dividing by 2? It's to multiply by 2. So I'll multiply by 2 on that side, but if I do it on that side, I have to do it on the other. Multiplying 2 times 1/2 will cancel those out. Therefore, I'm going to have 440, because that's 220 times 2. And then on the other side, I'll have 44h, because the 1/2 disappeared. Okay, then I have a 44 left to get rid of. It's multiplied by the h, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing, so I'll divide by 44. Have to do it on the other side. So, since the 44's cancel, I'll have 10 equals h. But don't forget, make sure you put your units. The units here would be centimeters. Okay, let's look at one more, slightly more complicated example. Here we have a trapezoid. One of the bases of a trapezoid is 18 inches. The height is 9 inches, and the area is 189 inches squared. We want to find the length of the other base of the trapezoid. Okay. So, once again, we're going to plug in what we know and solve for what we don't. Okay, what are we going to plug into? We're working with a trapezoid, so I'll need the trapezoid area formula. The items we have to plug in, we know the 18 inches, that's one of the bases, so I'll call that B1. The height is 9, that's H, and the area is 189, that's A. Okay, then we're asked to find the length of the other base. So I'll need to solve for B2. Alright, so let's plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Oh, sorry, I couldn't resist. Okay, so here we go. I plugged it all in. And now I need to solve for what I don't know. I need to solve for B2. I have 3 different things to get rid of this time. I need to undo the 1/2, the 18, and the 9. And because there's parentheses involved, I need to get rid of the stuff outside the parentheses first. Okay, I can do the 1/2 just like I did before. We'll multiply both sides by 2. That would give me 378 on that side, and 18 plus B2 all times 9 on the other side. Okay? Now, which do I get rid of next? The 18 or the 9? We get rid of what's on the outside of the parentheses first. So, I'm going to remove the 9. How do I undo multiplying by 9? Well, by dividing it, of course. So, multiplying by 9 and dividing by 9 cancels. So, I'll have 42, that's 378 divided by 9, equals 18 plus b2. Notice I didn't write the parentheses anymore because I don't need them. I've taken away all the operations that went on outside of them. Alright, so how do I get rid of the 18? The 18 is added, so in order to undo adding 18, I need to subtract 18. Okay, 42 minus 18 is 24, and then I have just b2 on the other side. Am I finished? Don't forget the units. That would be inches. Alright? So, let's talk about the other type of problem, which is rearranging area formulas. Now, notice that I'm putting problem number 1 on the left side. I did that on purpose because you'll find out in a moment that question number 3 is very much like number 1. Okay, so in question number 3, we're asked to solve the formula for the area of a triangle for h. Okay, again we have the word solve, which means to get by itself. What are we getting by itself? We're getting h by itself. We're solving for h. Well, what are we getting it by itself in? Well, we're going to use the area of the triangle, which is 1/2 base times height. For purposes of this video, I put h in red because that's what we're trying to get by itself. Okay? So, to get the h by itself, I'm going to undo operations just like we did before. Okay? I need to undo the 1/2 and the b. The opposite of multiplying by 1/2 would be multiplying by 2. So I can multiply both sides by 2. Notice we did the same thing in question number 1. Okay, so those cancel, and I have just BH on the right side. Now, how do I write A times 2? Well, because I don't have an actual number to multiply by, we'll just write it 2A, just kind of like 2x. It means the same thing as 2 times A. Alright, then I still have a B to get rid of. So b is multiplied by h, it's b times h, so I'll divide by it. That'll make the bases cancel, and I have just h on the right side. Now, again, because I don't have any actual numbers to work with on this one, I can't simplify that any farther. So I'm just going to write 2a divided by b. Since I have h by itself, that's my result. Okay? So I have taken the formula for the area of a triangle and solved it for h. I want you to notice, again, looking at how we solved for a missing height on question number 1. We took the same 2 steps, multiplying by 2 to undo the 1/2, and dividing by either 44 or b to get rid of the base. So, when we're rearranging an area formula, we're essentially solving an equation the same way, it's just we're working with variables rather than numbers. Okay, let's look at a trapezoid one. Again, I'm going to put all of our work from number 2 on the left side, just so we can compare it. Hurry up. There we go. Okay, so we're asked to solve the formula for the area of a trapezoid for B2. Once again, here we have our formula. Do you think you can get B2 by itself before, just by looking at the previous example? If you do, pause it and see if you get it. Alright, so I need to undo all the operations, the 1/2, the B1, and the H. I can multiply by 2 to get rid of the 1/2, leaving me with that on the right side. And like the previous question in number 3, I'll have just 2A. Okay, I need to get rid of what's on the outside of the parentheses first, so I'll divide by h on both sides. So I have b1 plus b2 Again, I didn't write the parentheses because I don't need them anymore. And 2a over h is what we have on the left side. I still need to undo adding b1, so I'm going to subtract b1 from both sides. I have only b2 on the right. Now, how am I going to write that mess? Well, those are not like terms, and like we usually do when they're not like terms, I'll just write it out to the side. So I have 2a over h minus b1 equals b2. Because I have b2 by itself, that's my answer. Once again, notice the similarities in the steps. We multiplied by 2, we divided by the height, and we subtracted the other base. Okay, we're just working with variables instead of numbers. Hope that all makes sense, but if it doesn't, we'll have some time in class to work on it. Alright, see you guys later.